Hi guys, it's that time again. Which is better? And it's a Merciful Fate special. Well, another Merciful Fate special. You have to go through the backlog of my videos to find the previous Merciful Fate special of Which is Better. But in this special, will be between Melissa and Don't Break the Oath. And before I continue, even though the sun is out, the temperature has definitely dropped in the UK. That's why I'm wearing a hoodie, but beneath this hoodie, as you can see, I'll be leaving links to check out songs by Machine Head in the description, as well as the link to check out my Instagram page, where you get to see the rest of the band merch that I have, and my Twitter page, where you get to see what songs I'm listening to on a daily basis. Enough about that, let's continue. Looking at the Melissa album, all these years have passed since this album was released out of Denmark, and it kickstarted the career of one of the most iconic singers in the heavy metal world. This album simply kicks ass. Independent of the impact it made on the careers of the band members, this album is without question a classic, and nothing about it has changed since then. It's just as fresh and influential as ever. Even the impressive cover art is timeless, still evil enough to have that chilling vibe, but not so much that it looks like it's trying too hard. To say the same for the tracks that draw within. It's just 7 blissful, headbanging, thought-provoking, shredding, scream your head off songs that you will definitely love. So looking at the production, they rented the nicest studio that they could find, but it was expensive because they had to rush the record out because they only had a set amount of time to produce it. But the sound does not come off as rushed, as you can clearly hear the quality in the sound. The guitars have enough pop, crunch and reverb at the right moments. The vocals sound over the top, but are perfectly welcome to the bed of swirling riffs and solos. Even the bass here is there for you to enjoy, but it will not kind of overshadow the lovemaking you'll be having between the leads and the vocals. And the drums are not too loud either, but not too quiet. This album has no production faults in my opinion. The production just sounds perfect. The song arrangements are varying and awesome. The riffs are catchy but yet memorable, rocking and groovy, but yet the guitars are evenly paired, working off each other's riffs and solos with plenty of changes in riffs, making for a very progressive listen. The song Satan's Fall alone has 16 different riffs. Just check out the riffs on The Bridge of Evil, the chorus of Curse of the Pharaohs, and at the sound of the Demon Bell, and the intro to Satan's Fall. You want a simpler list, the riffs that don't amaze, none. We always get some cleaner bits, both quick, Into the Covenant and somber Melissa. Perfect guitars, definitely. The bass is grooving throughout the album, and though there are no bass solos or anything, it's satisfying to the low end. The majority of the album will be following the guitars, but also at times creating an underlying third rhythm, both blistering and groovy. There's no bass here on them by inheritance, and that didn't even bother me a bit. Even the bass sounds good as well. The drums are excellent, as you can imagine. Apparently Kim Rice disappeared from the metal world after the first breakup, and I have no idea. He was awesome, he had solid beats, killer feels and great power on the skins. He's a great drummer, but he just must not have had it within him anymore, which is a shame, but his legacy will definitely live on. Now, don't really need to go into detail about King Diamond's vocals and how amazing they sound. Given this already awesome album and unique edge, crazy falsettos and growls and operatic shrieks, yeah, all those things are right when you want them, but let us remember that he is the king. Let me also say that if you don't like this rather excessive vocal style at first, just keep listening to it over and over again until you eventually like it. Once you get used to it, there is no singer that is just quite like him. His voice is exactly what this album needs to kick into that unique classic that it is. And the lyrics didn't hurt either. The story of the girl who joined the witches only to be, well, yeah. Now, despite how dark and compelling the lyrics are, they retain an extreme degree of catchiness, and you'll be singing along to it in no time. And just as the end of the song says, that this album will always be with us. So switching gears, we're going to look at Don't Break the Oath. Now, what more can be said about this band that hasn't already been said? They have already released some of the best and most influential metal ever. Most thrash, black, death, prog, tech, and even power metal bands list them either as an influence or list bands that Merciful Fate have been an influence on. No surprise there. They, along with Anvil, Motorhead and Venom, have created what will become thrash and extreme metal as well as black metal, with the latter of aforementioned bands. They are every bit as important to the evolution of metal as Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. Think of it like this: if you're Metallica, Slayer and Megadeth, who are vital bands, they would not even be around if it wasn't for the likes of Merciful Fate. Don't Break the Earth is Merciful Fate's second album, and they had a cult following in Europe and an underground following in the US since the very beginning of the 80s. The release gained them worldwide exposure as well as controversy and notoriety, even bringing them to the Billboard 200. A real German classic in the sense of the words, Don't Break the Earth is a benchmark that belongs in any metalhead's collection. This album features the complex bluesy work of Timmy Hansen as well as the technical complex drumming of Kim Russ. This is the album where they truly shine with their tight and fist rhythm section, also bringing in the almost 70s hard rock style to this crushing metal release. Then there's the jaw-dropping guitar solo of Hank Sherman and Michael Denner, a duo that happens to be one of the best in metal. Hank is more fast and technical, while Michael is more passionate and emotional. Michael's guitar feels like it can actually talk at times. The two guitarists have very different styles, but yet they have such a wonderful chemistry that is hard to believe at times. Then last but certainly not least, King Diamond is on vocals. Now, some hate him, some love him, and there is no in between. His voice simply has to be heard, to be believed. He can go from a deep, thrashy kind of growl to an ear-piercing, glass-shattering, almost dog whistle falsetto in a mere instant without having to transition. The only vocalists I can think who can reach these octaves are Rob Halford, Tim Amar and Eric Adams, yet none of them can go to the extremes that Mr. Diamond is able to do so. The music itself is a mixture of thrash, heavy, prog and even shred metal. The lyrics are mostly based upon the occult. Another thing that must be mentioned is in the production. It sounds way ahead of its time, especially for the year of 1984, and I cannot think of any album until then that had such a wonderful mix. The instruments are laid so beautifully yet so crisp you'll swear it's jumping at you when you listen to it on speakers. Break the Earth is such an amazing album and flawless at the same time. It's incredible how the dark atmosphere of Merciful Fate albums, without having to rely on raw production or sounding guttural like so many bands do nowadays and followers. So there you have it. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought was the better album. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.